Okay, so last week was what is love? This week, we're going to kick off with what is love as an energy. So I did talk last week a bit about love being an energy. I didn't go into too much detail, obviously, because we had to cover what we did. But love as an energy is really, really important a concept for us to be able to understand. Because when I talk about love, and when we talk about feelings and anything else that comes of it, we've got to talk about it in terms of energy. So I'll just go through the slides because obviously there's no point in making them and spending so much time on them unless you're actually going to follow them. They're also very good to keep me on the straight and narrow because, I could veer off into any direction. So thank you for joining me on my second talk. Second of a million, I know. Welcome to Mothering Sunday. For those of you who are hanging out with your mothers, good luck to you. And I hope that you enjoy their company. For those of you whose mothers are no longer around, I'm sorry. However, what's really important is that you understand that we are here to be and bring up our own feminine as well. And so it's important that regardless of whether our mothers are physically here or not, it's important that we are able to bring up the mother within us because that's, to be honest, it's paramount for us to be able to go off and achieve whatever it is that we want to in a healthy way. So just to recap again, the talks are going to be recorded, so please be aware. I don't put anybody's whatever's on it, so you don't need to worry about that. But please do, if you get a chance, go onto YouTube, have a watch. Obviously like it because you obviously like it, and even if you don't, you can just pretend to like it, but just like it. Subscribe, even if you don't want to, just do it. And then put a comment on there, preferably a really, really good one. Preferably a lovely comment, which is just something that's amazing. And even if you don't mean it, for now, let's just stick with that, right? Just to get Yaz's videos going, and then we'll take it from there. I'm joking. I've got 5,500 viewers, subscribers, so, I am already there. Anyway, bear with me in terms of glitches. Bear with me in terms of me just settling in. Like I said, I'm still trying to find my way. I'll learn. It'll take me a couple of weeks, I'm sure, but I'll get there. Now, I found out how to mute everybody because I've got little shortcut keys here. So I'm going to make sure I just do that just so that then when it comes to time to talking, I can then unmute everybody. But there you go. Is that it? No, that wasn't it. I think that's it. I act flash and I think I know what I'm doing, but actually I haven't got a clue. So your sound is muted. I would please share stuff in the chat. Okay, so there's a little chat bit over there which I don't even know how to bring up. Let me see if I can bring up the chat panel. It's Alt and H. No, it didn't bring it up. Of course it didn't. Why would anything work? It wouldn't. No. Okay, so where was I? Please put stuff in the chat, and then the talk should be between 45 minutes to an hour. Last week I said 30 minutes, and obviously I can talk for England, so I reckon after an hour, if you want to go, please just leave. I'll probably just continue talking. Finally, there is question and answers at the end, so if you've got any questions that come up for you, please do jot them down and then ask them at the end. If there's anything that comes up for you that you'd like to share, there is an opportunity for you guys to go through that at the end, and it would be nice for us, like I said, to break it up a bit, that you don't hear my voice the entire way because that can get annoying, and that somebody else gets to say anything that they'd like to say. So that opportunity will always be there. If not, I have no issues continuing to talk, and you'll find that as you join me more and more. Yes, there's no problem continuing to talk. So let's do a recap of last week. I talked about the paradigm of fear and moving over to love. So a paradigm is a framework, okay? And what we all must remember is that this framework is basically the unspoken rules that we live by in society. What we all have to also remember is that we have a paradigm that we were given when we were born and grew up. We have a paradigm actually given to us from our ancestors, because 9 generations of your ancestry and the memories of that, collective memories, is in your DNA. So whether you like it or not, your great great grandparents are still influencing you. So their paradigm and narrative is in there, which you are being governed by. And I'm going to show you how much of that is governing you, because you'll see that today. So those that miss out on today's are going to be kicking themselves, because really, well, they can watch it, can't they? But I won't tell them. Maybe I'll leave the video till really late, and then they can just be like, "Oh, what happened?" But yeah, no, sorry, where was I? They're unconscious. So you guys will see actually how your ancestry affects you, how your in terms of paradigm and the framework, your family and the upbringing, those rules that are allowed and not allowed. And then you went to school, and then you had a load of others from your peers and your friends. And then you went off into the world, and then you were given societal paradigms. What we are now looking at doing, and the shift, the collective shift that we're looking at, is to really make a change within ourselves to start to move from a fear-based way of living, a fear-based framework, and move over to a love-based. So we talked also about what is the meaning of a love for you. You guys had answered some of that for me, which was lovely, and there were some really, really lovely words. I remember connection. I remember peace. I remember somebody saying a place without judgment. So it's lovely, and it's important for you to really sit with what you make love mean for you and what it looks like, because you have to be able to share that with your loved ones. Okay, as you already know, love means something very different for everybody. Is love a feeling, a skill, or a way of being? Well, we talked a bit about that, didn't we? It's an activity. And a bit like a garden, you have to understand in any relationship that you would like to start to flourish and nourish love in. What is the purpose of this for you? What do you want from that garden? Is it just a garden in the backyard that you're not really going to give much time and energy to, which is fine? There's no right or wrong. Remember, there's no good or bad. You can do that, and that's absolutely okay. But you have to be quite comfortable with the fact that that's what you're doing, and be aware that your partner or the person who it is that you're choosing to do that with may not feel the same. They may want a garden that actually gives them enough food and nourishment, and I don't know, lavender, so that they don't have mosquitoes in the evening. They might want that, and they might want it, to be maintained and loved and cared for. And if that's the case, then you two can really sit down and have a look at your values, because this is what happens in a lot of relationships. People put what their garden purpose is onto the other, going, this is right and this is wrong. No, it's not. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There is, what do I want? And this is what we've got to start doing. Fear generalizes it. Fear goes, everybody's got to do this because this is right. And if you don't do it or follow it, fear gets really quite upset with you. Love doesn't do that. Love goes, do you know what? You were born with a God-given right. And that God-given right is for you to choose. So choose. And love says choose fear, and that's okay. So anyway, understanding what it is you want from your relationships, and in terms of love, what is it that you would like to have, see, or feel back? We also discussed love as an energy in terms of thoughts, feelings, conversations, and behavior. Every conversation you have is producing energy, is using energy. Every thought you have is using energy and producing energy. And every behavior that you participate in is coming from and being motivated by energy. Okay, everything is about energy, and it's really important that we start to think that way and make that a quite core part of our belief system. Why? Because you can start to work within the governing rules of a world that is dictated by energy. Now, imagine if you're playing a game. Play within the rules of the game and you'll start winning. And then you'll be like, oh my God, I'm getting really far. I'm leveling up and I'm feeling really good about this. And this is how you do it, by understanding the laws of the world we live in, and then working within those laws. And that's what love does, is it helps you to work within those laws. So what we ended with was questions that were sent through last week. And then obviously I opened it up to the audience. We're going to have a bit more of that this week. I think I'm missing a slide, but okay. What are you feeling now? And where in your body? Yeah, I am missing a slide. That's interesting. Oh, there you go. No, that's fine. Sorry. It's a good job I talked about glitches, really, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, what are you feeling right now? And where in your body is this energy? Please do pop it in the chat. Like I said, I don't even know how to access my chat anymore, but Oh, there it is. Lovely. Okay. Great. So yeah, please do pop it in the chat. Don't do that. Please don't do that. And then we can have a look and understand, why is it so important for you to ask yourself this question? Because again, what you feel is energy. Okay, we call it emotions, we call it feelings, but that is actually energy moving around in your body. We then label it. So still anxiety in your stomach. Yeah, you've got a lot going on, kid, as well. So I can only imagine. Tense in my neck and shoulders. Thank you, Tia. So what we've got is this energy, content, space in lungs. Nice. Be able to breathe fully. Lovely. And stretch. Thank you for that, Jenny. So was everybody can see that, Gloria, by the way, just so you know. And so what are you feeling now, and where in your body is the energy? I'm trying to get myself back to a place that I can focus. What part of your body, and what is the energy doing? Is it swirling? Is it still? Is it tight? Really, really important that you are aware of this more and more. Why? Again, everything is energy. You really want to start to be able to access what's going on in your body. Also, what it does is it helps you to be present. So I want you to ask yourself this question again in maybe about 10 minutes as we go through this. Yeah. What are you feeling? What does it look like? Where is it? What's it doing? So I talked about energy last week, and I talked about thoughts, feelings, behavior, and conversations. Okay. So think about it. You've got all of those going on. And what do they do? I know, isn't this just such an amazing slide? I'm telling you, if anybody would like to hire me to make presentations, I'm all yours. What do they all do? They amount to energy. Yes, they do. So lots and lots of energy going on with every thought, with every feeling, with every behavior, with every conversation. Now, what is it that energy denotes? It denotes frequency. Okay. So this is the law of energy. I'm not telling you or giving you anything that is theoretical. I'm not telling you anything that somebody made up and thought, oh, look, this is really good. Like we can, I don't know, run it somewhere and make money off it. No, no. Guys, you can go and access this information from anywhere. Well, I'm going to give you how you can access this information, actually. You can access this information from everywhere. And this is something you really want to start to work with. Energy is a bunch of atoms vibrating, and they vibrate at a frequency. Okay, so then you kind of want to go, oh, frequency. And then when they're vibrating at a frequency in our body, do you know what happens? We relate to them as emotions. So now, when Sil talked about the anxiety in her tummy, this is energy that is now vibrating at a particular frequency, yeah, which is somewhere where she now relates to that as anxiety. And we're going to talk a bit about that on the spectrum. So, not the spectrum like the neurodivergent spectrum, I mean the emotional spectrum. So, let me just move this chat out of the way. Yeah. So, now you've got the emotions. Oh, dear. Now you've got the emotions. When I talked about frequency, I talked about below the line, didn't I? I know, isn't that amazing? Below the line, that way which is fear, and above the line, that way which is love. And here you can now see it. And this is how I want you to relate to the shifts in energy in your body. Okay. And when someone tells you as well, I want you to go, oh, look, they're saying they feel, for example, we use Sil's and Tia's example of anxiety or tense. What does tense feel like? So is tense in my muscles? Is tense in my body? Or can I actually go tense? Tense feels maybe a bit anxious, maybe a bit, I don't know, frustrating. Everybody feels very differently. So again, to ask ourselves, what is the emotion that I can relate to with that particular energy in my body? Yeah. Above the line is love based. The line is neutral, and below the line is fear based. There are lots of feelings in between. There are lots of words that we'll use for feelings, but they are all derivatives of love or fear. And what's really good when you use less and less words to describe things is you can get to the core and you can get to the root much quicker. So we're in a world now where there are 360 odd feeling words. That's not actually helpful. It's really not. Why? Because you just want to get to the root. By going, I feel like a failure, I haven't actually addressed any emotion there. I've gone, I think I feel like a failure. But no, but I'm having a thought that I am a failure. I think I am a failure. That's not a feeling. A feeling is a derivative of sad, mad, glad, scared. And even that is only a derivative of love or fear. And once you get to that, you can go, oh, I'm scared. Great. That's what anger is. Anger is, I am scared. Why do we get angry? Because we're scared. And those who find it difficult to face or access their fear will get angry. Not everybody, but an emotional extrovert will get angry because they will bring it out. That's not necessarily true, actually. An emotional extrovert will, but an emotional introvert can get angry, but they will bring it back in. Self-harm is a good one for somebody that would get angry, that can't bring out that anger in a healthy way or release it, and so they will self-harm. So this is what one will do in terms of energy. Or they will feel it because they feel numb. I mean, there are lots of different reasons, but understanding what you do with yours is really, really important. Now, I was talking about the emotional frequency spectrum. This is kind of what it looks like. So you can see at the bottom there, we've got frequency in hertz, and then going up to the left vertically there, we've got the feelings, right? So this is somebody's interpretation, the guy who actually created it. I can't remember his name, but it's on the next slide. So this is what he's put. I will always say below the line is fear-based, above the line is love-based. He's given them different feelings and different words, but it starts with shame, and then it goes up to guilt, and then it goes to grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, neutrality. So that would be the line that I was talking about, below the line, above the line. And then you've got willingness, you've got acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and then enlightenment. I mean, what is enlightenment? That's going to be a whole nother talk, isn't it? But enlightenment, what is that? Really, it's just peace inside. That's what enlightenment is. It's no biggie. It's just when you reach self-actualization, as Maslow talked about. What is that? It's to actualize yourself, meaning to actually just be as authentic as you want to be without a mask. That's enlightenment, is when you put your ego mask down or your societal mask down, and you are able to just be yourself, and that you've really looked at yourself and understood who you are. You've really sat with yourself and sat with your shadow. That's really enlightenment. So, but again, we'll talk about loads of that later. But I thought this was a great little opportunity to see it mapped out. So the higher the frequency, yeah, the emotion we tend to relate to is more of a love-based emotion, and the lower the frequency, we tend to relate to it as a more fear-based. So anxiety would be down there, in the lower resonating frequencies. Yeah. And then content would be more up there above the neutrality. So that's really interesting. Now, where on the spectrum do you tend to resonate most of the time? Please do pop your answers in the chat. So where do you tend to be? Do you tend to be down in the shame, in the fear or guilt, or do you tend to resonate near neutrality, or maybe even joy, or maybe even love? Where do you tend to resonate most of the time? And then what external experiences, what's going on outside of you, or what could go on outside of you, affects that for you? So what then causes it? Remember, nothing makes you feel a way. We actually respond to it, which then will do what it will do. But what causes your frequency to then shift? So yeah, please pop that in the chat. Tell me where it is that you are at when it comes like that. So for me, I think what's interesting is I tend to prefer being above the neutrality, and I tend to just be there most of the time, not because I'm trying, but this is what I've noticed I like to be. And when I do get sort of pulled down, I find it really difficult, and then I get quite I feel quite suffocated by being pulled down, especially since perimenopausal symptoms, heaven forbid, which I do not wish upon anybody. But yeah. So where is it that you resonate most of the time, and what is it that causes you to shift? Now, the emotional frequency spectrum that I just showed you is from, I think it's a book called The Map of Consciousness, or he designed The Map of Consciousness. Anyway, David R. Hawkins. So if you are more interested in that, then please do have a look. Research shows, and this one's an interesting one, research shows we experience between 300 to 500 discrete emotions. Sorry, discrete emotion. I'm trying to do two things at once. Doesn't happen, does it? Yes, no. Fear most of the time. Yeah, connection makes me nervous. So we experience 300 to 500 discrete emotional events per day. Guys, that's a lot. That's a lot, from little ones to like really, really big ones. Which ones are yours? You've got to ask yourself this. What is it that makes me have a shift in frequency? What kinds of things are going on? Who, what, where, when, and why? Okay, these are the things you really want to start to ask yourself, because this is where you are now going to start to build your awareness. You're going to start to build your knowledge. If you want to start to use the energy of love, then these things you've got to be aware of. Otherwise, it can't happen. Our emotions can shift every 90 seconds unless you latch onto them with thoughts, which most of us do. So, yeah, thank you, brain. Thank you, beliefs. We are going to. Could I show you the scheme again? I probably could. There it is. So, yeah. I mean, what's really important here is that you're asking yourself, what is it that makes me shift? Remember, you're a human. You will shift up and down, in and out. None of them are good and none of them are bad. Don't ever forget that. However, what is impacting you? What is triggering that? Why? And how do you feel about it? Do you like to stay down there in the lower vibing places, in the shame, in the guilt? If you do, that's absolutely okay. Yeah. Remember, none of this is about right or wrong or good or bad, but you will start to learn about lower resonating frequencies and how they impact you. So, again, with everything it is that we do, you will start to make it a conscious choice. Yeah. So if I am consciously, if I am in shame, I want to either be able to accept it as it is, be okay with it, or ask myself why and work on it. And that work can be in progress for however long. It doesn't matter, as long as you are willing and participating in the work on it. So where were we? Yeah, every 90 seconds. Anyway, did you know that 90%, and this is really scary, but these are the actual figures, guys, 90% of the decisions we make are made unconsciously, okay? Obviously, I have been doing this for 15 odd years, and I talk, for, as my job is to make things conscious, I'm still in the 90%. Imagine that, okay? And I'm probably 1%. So let's say 89% of my decisions are made unconsciously. And this will be a lifelong pursuit that I have to work on. But these are the figures that we have to go with. And this is, I'm telling you that. And this is me who works on this day in and day out. I do it for a living. I'm so passionate about this stuff. And I still know that I've got so much stuff in there that's unconscious. And I know that every time I participate with a new activity, every time I do something that scares me, or every time I do something that's brand new, I will bring into awareness the things that I'm not aware of. And that's how you do it. If we stick to what we know and we don't do things outside of what we know, then the likelihood of us expanding our consciousness and our awareness is much lower than it is if we are participating in new things, in things that make us go, and then make us go, oh my God, and then still go through it and push past it. What is bravery? Bravery is not being scared and doing something. It's not that I'm not scared. Bravery is actually absolutely shitting your pants and doing it anyway. That's what bravery is. And actually what that does is that opens up and expands out your awareness, and it gets you to see things, hear things, feel things about yourself that you wouldn't have if you did not participate in that. So if 90%, then that means 10% of our thoughts, our beliefs and choices are driven. Well, that's not right, is it? 10% is driven by the conscious. Yeah, see, that's a little error there. 90% is unconscious. No, 10% is conscious. So 10% of our thoughts, 10% of what we choose to believe and the choices that we make are driven by the conscious. My bad. That shouldn't be unconscious. That should be conscious. So only 10% of what it is that you are doing is consciously driven. Like, guys, when you walk around going, I am choosing this thing, I'm choosing these clothes, I'm choosing that, whatever. Sorry, mate, but 90% of it is made by your unconscious. Now, why? Because you really do kind of want to go, why? Why is that the case? Well, our eyes receive 400 billion bits of information per second. Yes, 400 billion. Okay. Our conscious brain can only process around about 2,000 bits per second, which means that 99.9999995% of what we see is filtered out. And this isn't even me giving you the rest of your senses. I mean, these numbers are so big, I'm not even going to bother with giving you the rest of the senses right now. But this is the information that you are processing just through the light that's going in. Imagine that. Now you go from 400 billion bits to 2,000 bits. I mean, that is obscene amount that you are not having access to. It is going in. So then you go, well, where's it going? Good question. Where's it going? It is the unconscious mind then. So it goes into the unconscious. And then what it does is it stores it and it goes, right. And let's have a look. And imagine, I don't know, imagine you're a hoarder and imagine someone just comes in and goes, right, out. And it just starts going, well, I tell you what, I'm going to throw out the things that I think either she won't use, won't like, won't understand, or he won't use, or won't like, or won't understand, or they won't use, won't like, won't understand. And then I'm just keep the things that this person can basically like absorb, whatever it might be. And then it just starts chucking things out into the skip. Imagine it's chucked out 99.99995%. And what it does is it goes and puts it into storage and you haven't even seen it. You don't even know what it is, but they've just chucked it all out, put it into storage and gone, right, now you just deal with this bit. And it's like a minute, tiny, milli, nano fraction of what it is that actually happened. And it determines it based on whatever it is that your belief systems are. It will keep the things that are in that. Whatever it is your emotional state is, it will go, all right, can she deal with it? No, leave it then. And it will leave it out. It's based on our survival instincts, and obviously it's based on your DNA and it's based on your past experiences. So imagine that. Now, I tell you this, why? Because when you walk around thinking that you're choosing the things that you're choosing or that you have lots and lots of awareness, please humble yourself for a minute and go, actually, I don't. Now, but the way to bring that about, so the beauty is this is not a you don't, so shut up and it's all over. What's the point in this existence? Because I'm not actually choosing. It's not about that. It's about saying to yourself, well, how can I expand on that? I expand on that by doing new things. I expand on that by facing my fears. That's how I do it. So still, although you feel anxious, although you've got all these things going on, I promise you, after you've come out of this, you'll come out of this more aware. You'll come out of this knowing parts of yourself and seeing parts of yourself you wouldn't have if it wasn't for this experience. I know it's not nice and I'm sorry. I know there's lots of fear attached to it. However, what it does do is it expands our awareness. I think somebody's just said something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then we go on to what Carl Jung says. This is one of my favorite quotes, actually. You know, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And this is true. This is what we're doing. We'll either call it fate or we'll call it a choice. You walk around going, yeah, because I'm choosing to. Why? Because I am. Why? Because I like it. Why? Because I do. Why? That question, why, is such a beauty. This is why children ask it, because they knew exactly what to do when they were doing it. They really did. Why? Because this is how you learn and expand your awareness. Then what happens? Every parent sits there and goes, stop asking me why. And then you stop asking why. And then what happens? Then we turn into these little automatons and we're just walking around like these little bloody sheeples. And it's not good. It's not good. Who wants to be a sheeple? Nobody. So let's stop being sheeples and let's start asking the question why. And also, let's start self-actualizing, meaning I don't give a shit. If 8.16 billion people tell you no, I want you to ask yourself, how do you feel about it and why? What do you want to do? And self-actualization is you moving yourself into that, into who am I? What do I want to be? And it's really important that you ask yourself these questions. Obviously, there are consequences for your actions. Obviously, there are consequences for who it is you want to be or don't want to be. Obviously, you will have to accept and face those consequences. Yes, because we have to be accountable. However, that doesn't mean, though, that if you choose to do it or be it, that you can be it. And what we've got to do then is be able to own it. So if I wake up tomorrow and go, I don't want to work anymore, I've had enough. I want to sit in my garden and feed my birds and watch the squirrels and watch the cat, watch the squirrel, watch the rats, and the pigeons that are really naughty. Now I understand why. Pigeons are very naughty, very naughty. And what they do is they just bully, the little birds. But this is what I do all day long, as you've probably noticed. But if I want to do that, great. What's the consequence of that? I might lose the roof over my head. Okay. As long as I'm aware of that and I've chosen it, if I then do lose the roof over my head, what will I do? I will go and live at my parents' house. And if I don't like that, well, tough, because that's what you chose to do. Why? Because that's the consequence of an action. And this is the beauty. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. There is simply choice. Fear tells you you're not allowed to choose some things. Love says you are allowed to choose anything. However, you will be accountable for it and there will be consequences for it. Just like the law of energy, every action has a reaction. Every cause has an effect. Once we realize that, we're off. We're good to go. Now, what's the unconscious got to do with understanding love? Isn't that such a lovely graphic? I know. To choose love consciously, one must face their fear and their shadow. To really know love, you have to know fear. Not just any fear, you have to know your fear. Okay? And your fear resides in your shadow. We all have a shadow. If the light is on you, then there will be a shadow. And the light is on us, which means we all have a shadow. And what we must do in order for us to start to live in love is we have to face our shadow. Now, you don't take away a shadow. Why? Because, well, where there is light, there is a shadow. If you take away the shadow, you're actually saying, I no longer exist. And so everything that exists in the light has to have a shadow. So it's not about getting rid of your shadow, but you've got to sit there and face it. And you've got to sit with it. And you've got to get to know it. Most of us are running. We're running so far. We're running so fast from our shadow. It's fantastic. But that's not going to get you the energy of love. That's not going to get you the ability to live within and work within and think within and behave within the paradigm of love. It won't. It doesn't matter how much you convince yourself that it is. It isn't. In order for us to truly face the shadow, we really must bring our darkness into the light. Yeah. A lot of people really find that really, really difficult to do. Well, you're going to have to. Some of us are really good at it. Some of us are really good at it. But what we do is we sit in it and then we start like bathing in it as well. And we start going, well, this is who I am. Well, I have no choice. No, this is not who you are. This is the polarity of you. You can sit there and bathe in it and you can be in it for as long as you choose to. However, over there is the light. You also are that. You are not one or the other. You are both. And this is what we have to understand about ourselves. The ego doesn't like two things at once. The ego says, no, you are either this or you are that. Okay. And here's where the first big shattering comes in. It's like, actually, I am both. Like me, I am absolutely amazing. And I can be an absolute dick. That's just me. Why? Because I'm a human. And some things I can be really quite hopelessly crap at, and other things I'm freaking amazing. But I've got to be able to say it. And I've got to be able to go, yeah, I know, yeah, that was not great. Because when I face it, I can then choose to do something about it if I want to. And if I don't, that's okay too. But then at least I'm accountable. And at least I'm kind of going, all right, well, this is who I choose to be. So, a question for you. How can I continue to keep choosing love in a world full of so much fear? So, this was a question actually sent in to me by Alex. Thank you very much, Alex, because I really liked this one. I chose that out of a few that I'd been sent in. I mean, how can I continue to keep choosing love in a world full of so much fear? I like that a lot because I get people that feel that way and I understand why. The answer to that question is simply this: you are not choosing love for them, you're choosing love for you. Now, here's the next thing: you are not choosing love and then going around going, I must give everybody love. No, that's not what love says. Love says you choose love and work within the paradigm of love for you first and foremost. And then, should you love the other person for them? But if you don't, because they're an absolute asshole, you don't have to go around loving anybody you don't want to. But what love does say is it says, I'd like you, if you're working within my paradigm, then you are going to be respectful of them. Great. And what does respectful mean? Well, we're going to talk a lot more about that in the coming talks. But respect basically is I have the right to be me and you have the right to be you. Fear tries to take away your right. It wrestles you to the ground, fights you, debates you, punches you in the face, pokes you in the eyeballs, and tells you to stop being whatever it is that you are being or saying or doing. And that's what fear does. Is it just fights you and fights you and fights you and debates you and intellectualizes and rationalizes until you're just like so exhausted, you're like, fine, have it. Do what you want. What love does is it goes, mate, you're all right. You be you and I'll be me. You have every right to be you because you really do. And I have every right to be me because I really do. It's lovely. So, in a world so full of fear, I am not choosing love for them. I'm choosing love for me. And I will be respectful to whomever it is outside of me. And then I will choose what it is I wish to do around that particular human or thing or experience. And if it's making me feel away, well, then I'll choose to probably take myself away from it. But I don't need to wrestle it to the ground and make it change. That's not actually my job to do. And also, that's quite disrespectful of someone else's right. And this is the beauty of love. So, in terms of reflections and questions or anything that you would like to share, does anybody have anything that's been, I don't know, triggered off for them? Has any of this made you think a particular thing? Has it made you feel a particular way? Please do pop it into the chat, and I'm quite happy to kind of discuss that now. If anything comes up for anybody. I'm still trying to learn how to do chats and presentations and talk and Zoom at the same time. So do bear with me. Multitasking was never really something I was great at. But okay, so I haven't got much in there. So let's carry on then. Closing thoughts. I'd really like you guys to genuinely ask and question everything. Okay? In order for you to learn, in order for you to grow, you must build knowledge. And to do this, you must question everything. Nothing is, well, you know, that's how everybody feels. I don't care how anybody else feels. How do you feel and why? When we generalize, what we're doing is we're trying to avoid ourselves. We are not wanting to face our shadow. So when you notice yourself generalizing, please understand that you're doing that because you don't want to face a part of you. And a lot of people do it. They go, well, you know, but that's how we feel, isn't it? No, that's how you feel. Oh, but everybody feels like that. Well, no, because there's 8.16 billion people in the world, and they don't all feel like that. Oh, but most people do. Really? Did you ask all of them? Most of 8.16 billion would be, you must have asked at least, what, 7 billion? Did you? Okay, fine, six. 6 billion? Did you ask 6 billion? No. 5? No. Okay, so come on, man. It's not most, is it? No, it's you. And this is what we've got to do. When you face your shadow, you will go, I feel like this. Yes, I do. I feel like that. Okay. Um, a question that I'd like you guys to ask. I've also got a quiz which I'm gonna give to you guys. I don't know how to give it, but I'll figure it out in a minute. It's all fun and games, isn't it? Technology. Question for you: what do I believe love should look like, and who taught me that? This will start to give you an inkling as to what a belief system has been given to you and by whom in terms of love. And as you ask yourself that question, I want you to then go, well, that's interesting. I wonder what gave them that belief of what love should look like and who taught them. Because that just goes up the chain. And this is the beauty, is that we're just passed down a bunch of stuff, which is fine. And it's great to keep the things that are working, but the things that are not, oh, there you go. Look. All right. So I'm not going to go yet. Why? Because I really, really want you guys to do this quiz poll thing, which obviously I have no idea how to bring up. But let me just stop sharing a second.